After more than a decade since the disappearance of their loved one Navajo Nation family is now searching the desert themselves, desperate to find any trace of what could have led to their disappearance. New Mexico's cattle industry is now preparing as a deadly insect moves northward that could devastate the industry. A seventh person has died at MDC in the last 6 months. New Mexico is on track to adopt new clean transportation fuel standards, and Albuquerque is taking a renewed shot at establishing a downtown business improvement district. From the Albuquerque Journal, this is the leading news. I'm Gino Gutierrez. It's Monday, June 2nd, and I'll have more on those stories plus a look at the weather forecast on the other side of this break.
This episode is brought to you by the Kirtland Partnership Committee. For 30 years, we've been dedicated to supporting, growing, and preserving the Kirtland National Security Complex. We work tirelessly to enhance military readiness, foster community partnerships, improve quality of life, and promote economic development right here in New Mexico. Join us in our mission to ensure that Kirtland remains a cornerstone of national security and a key provider of quality jobs and investment for all of Greater Albuquerque. Together, we can make a powerful impact. Kirtland Partnership Committee, proudly shaping the future of our national security for 30 years.
14 years after Dwayne Thomas vanished on the Navajo Nation near Red Mesa, his family is still searching for answers and now potentially his remains. In March of 2021, Thomas, a charismatic Boilermaker and dancer known for his gentleman cowboy persona, went missing on a way to a dance. Despite early tips and suspicion of foul play, tribal police never declared his disappearance a homicide, preventing federal authorities like the FBI from stepping in. This spring, however, a long-ignored tip led investigators to a remote canyon where they found human remains and cowboy boots believed to be Thomas's. But with limited resources, tribal police left most of the site uncovered, telling the family they would not be back, quote, anytime soon. Frustrated and tired of waiting, the Thomas family has begun searching the rugged terrain themselves with shovels, climbing gear, and memories in hand. The Thomas case reflects broader systemic issues affecting Native American communities. At least 78 people have been missing on the Navajo Nation since 1972. Many families, like the Thomases, face indifference or bureaucratic delays, which are exacerbated by jurisdictional complexities and underfunded tribal law enforcement.
Every missing person case on the Navajo Nation is not necessarily thoroughly looked at like, okay, we're going to help you guys.
That's the voice of Derek Thomas, Dwayne Thomas's youngest brother.
All they can tell you is it's not a crime to go missing. It's not a crime to walk off. It's not a crime to go somewhere else.
The result is a growing list of missing and murdered indigenous peoples, with many of whose cases remain unsolved for years. Search efforts recently intensified when the families enlisted Ray Kayanawani, a volunteer rescuer from Pinon. Ray and his team helped fill the gap between under-resourced emergency services and families in crisis. With his help, the Thomases discovered a human skull just yards from the previously recovered remains, a find that could finally bring closure. Yet, even that discovery comes with no guarantees. The remains are now with the New Mexico Office of the Medical Investigator, where testing could take months. Meanwhile, the family waits again and continues to comb the desert, driven by love, loss, and an unrelenting desire to bring Dwayne Thomas home. A tiny parasite, the New World screwworm fly, poses a major threat to New Mexico's cattle industry, prompting emergency border closures and new federal legislation to prevent an outbreak. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, or USDA, has twice shut down cattle imports from Mexico this year after the flesh-eating screwworm was detected in several Mexican southern states, which are within 700 miles of the U.S. border. Screwworm larvae are deadly because they feed on living tissue, unlike common maggots. Infestations can lead to severe injuries and even death in cattle and other warm-blooded animals, including pets and people. The U.S. eradicated the parasite in 1966 and has since partnered with Panama to maintain a buffer zone. But after a major population surge in 2023, experts now say a U.S. outbreak is likely and soon.
You know, there are reports now that it is within 200 miles of the Texas border, so it's definitely headed north.
That's Bronson Korn, president of the New Mexico Cattle Growers Association.
You know, it's not an if we're going to see it, it's a when we're going to see it, and unfortunately I think we're going to see it sooner, much rather than later, probably within the next 3 months, I would say. We're probably going to have it here in the United States.
With over 10,000 cattle ranches, New Mexico stands especially vulnerable. The screwworm's return could cost the U.S. livestock industry over $900 million annually, according to USDA estimates. To combat the threat, Senator Ben Ray Lujan of New Mexico and Senator John Cornyn of Texas introduced the Stop Screwworms Act, which would fund a new sterile fly production facility in the United States. Sterile male screwworms are a key to population control, as females only mate once. Currently, the only facility producing them is in Panama, capable of releasing hundreds of millions weekly. The USDA is also investing $21 million to convert a Mexican fruit fly plant to bolster this effort. Meanwhile, border facilities like Santa Teresa, the largest U.S. livestock entry point, now sits eerily empty, disrupting a billion-dollar cross-border cattle trade. Ranchers, processors, and transportation companies across the countries feel the ripple effects, and consumers may eventually see higher meat prices as well. New Mexico State veterinarian Samantha Holek is preparing for the worst.
There are risk factors that still make it an imminent threat to the United States, even with a lot of good preventive strategies and surveillance in place. So I think it's best that we be prepared because we still have a lot of warm summer months ahead of us that are going to allow that fly to move just naturally. So it's best to be, prepared for the worst and hope for the best.
Even minor wounds like tick bites can attract the flies. Infestation can kill cattle in 1 to 2 weeks if untreated, though ivermectin is effective within a few days. Holek and others are racing to train ranchers on detection and containment protocols. Despite the precautions, Holek and other officials do warn that the screwworm could cross into the United States at any time. And in other headlines from the newsroom, 45-year-old Estelle Quintero died Wednesday at the Metropolitan Detention Center, or MDC, just 48 hours after being jailed for missing court dates related to a $27 shoplifting charge and a child support case. Arrested on Monday, she was placed on detox watch but later found unresponsive in her cell. Fellow inmates say she cried for help throughout the night but was reportedly told, quote, "Be quiet and go to sleep" by a guard. Quintero's death is under investigation and marks the 7th such incident at MDC in 6 months, with 36 total deaths since 2020, many involving people detoxing. The jail's population has surged amid intensified law enforcement efforts targeting minor warrants and street-level drug offenses. Advocates criticize the system for incarcerating vulnerable individuals instead of offering treatment or support. New Mexico is on track to adopt clean transportation fuel standards that aim to reduce carbon emissions from fuels like gasoline, diesel, hydrogen, and electricity. The New Mexico Environment Department has submitted proposed rules to enforce annual emission cuts, which are 20% below 2018 levels by 2030 and 30% by 2040. If it's approved, New Mexico would become the 4th state with such standards. The program creates a credit trading market where fuel producers exceeding emission caps must buy credits from cleaner producers. Supporters say it could boost the state's $3 billion alternative fuels market and attract clean energy investment. However, Republicans warn it may raise fuel prices and increase regulation. Meanwhile, federal lawmakers are challenging state clean car rules, but the Environment Department says New Mexico's fuel program is insulated from federal pushback, giving the state control over its own clean energy future. Kirtland Air Force Base celebrated a highly successful 2025 Air Fiesta, drawing more than 30,000 attendees over 2 days. Those who attended enjoyed thrilling aerial performances by the Golden Knights, the U.S. Air Force F-16 demo team, Kirtland's very own 58th Special Operations Wing demo of HH-60s, CV-22s, and C-130s, as well as heritage acts like the P-51 and more than 40 booths showcasing STEM activities at Kirtland. And Albuquerque is taking a renewed shot at establishing a downtown business improvement district, or BID, after the collapse of a previous effort in 2014 due to legal and structural issues. Key property owners and city leaders now back the initiative, including Heritage Company CEO Jim Long, who led the lawsuit that ended the former BID, but now supports the new, more accountable version. The proposed BID would collect funds from property owners through a tax assessment to enhance services like cleaning, security, and marketing, adding to, not replacing city services. Property owners in the, quote, premium zone would pay more and receive enhanced services. To move forward, the petition needs 51% of support from downtown property owners. While momentum is growing, opposition does remain, most notably from Doug Peterson, downtown's largest property owner, who has launched an alternative opt-in private initiative focused on security. If the BID petition succeeds, the plan goes to the city council for approval. Supporters see it as a vital tool for revitalizing downtown downtown, while others remain weary of its cost and effectiveness. The Leading News is powered by the journalism of the Albuquerque Journal. If you enjoy all of the stories we share with you daily, please consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Journal by using the discount code found in our show notes. Every subscription ensures support for local journalism and allows us to provide the news that matters to you. Now taking a look at Albuquerque's weather forecast, showers and thunderstorms are likely after 12 p.m. and the high will be 77. As for this evening, there's a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight, partly cloudy, with a low around 59. To keep up with all the latest news from the Albuquerque Journal, you can visit our website at abqjournal.com. That's the Leading News. I'm Gino Gutierrez. We'll be back tomorrow.